Transformers of Eternia.
You're watching Transformers of Eternia. Now today I wanted to take a look at something I got in the mail recently, like many of you, and I don't think I'm the first one to review this, but I just wanted to give my thoughts on Transformers Legacy United Tidal Wave. So this guy is huge. I mean, this guy feels properly the right size. I think, well, technically he could be bigger, but you know how these things are. But this guy's pretty big. So anyway, I have him broken into his components right now, so I just kind of can show that off. There's a lot of little things you have to do for this guy, but he's fairly simple of a transformer, so I figured, hey, maybe I could actually do this on video without screwing up the transformation. Well, now that I said that, you can watch, and I probably will. But just let's take a look at these guys and or this piece, all these pieces that combine to make Tidal Wave anyway, and kind of give my thoughts on everything. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. And thank you for checking out my channel. Now back to the show. So what we got here is we got this giant this aircraft carrier anyway, and that's kind of cool. I mean, it's pretty basic. There's not a whole lot going on here, but you know, it's an aircraft carrier. I mean, it does look like an aircraft carrier anyway. And you get these little wheels underneath here. So you can kind of see, this is kind of tight though. Why is that so tight? Anyway, these wheels, I don't know if they actually roll very well. They're pretty tight. I guess if you push it down on the ground, I guess it'll actually do that. But anyway, it's pretty decent. It's fitting for Tidal Wave. I mean, this is pretty much what we got in the original Tidal Wave anyway. I used to have the original of this guy, so I know this is pretty much about right. This is just a giant, bigger version of Tidal Wave. And now with this thing here, this space jet thingy, whatever, land, I don't know what this would be. I don't know. But there's an issue with this, and I've noticed this in other people's reviews, that it just comes apart. I mean, just literally just, it's easy. It just comes right apart. Now you can hold it and it will stay together, but don't be bumping this thing too much because it's going to be coming apart pretty easily. Like literally I could just, see, like that. That's all it takes. So I'm just letting you know that's not a deal breaker. It's not the end of the world. And most people are not going to keep it in this form, obviously. But it's just something to kind of note that is kind of irritating if you think about it, considering the price of this thing. But it rolls. I mean, you could feel it rolling there pretty good. It's got the wheels underneath. These are fairly decent wheels. But yeah, that's kind of what it looks like underneath there. If you could see that. Anyway, yeah, it looks fairly respectful. I mean, respecting to the original anyway. And these parts here come right off because they go to Megatron or whatever when you're going to make the, I can't remember what it's called, the Megatron, oh, the mighty Megatron, I don't know what you call it. Anyway, you'll have to pardon me because I'm not up on my Transformers Energon as much because I didn't really watch that show as much as G1 and stuff. So I'm kind of a G1er, and I'm kind of coming to this from that angle. But I did like some of the characters in it and the designs, and this was one of my favorite designs out of in the show, and that is Tidal Wave. So it's, you know, it's kind of interesting. The Transformers that have wave in their name are all cool. Shock Wave, Sound Wave, Tidal Wave. You know, it's like the waves are always cool. So if they make another wave character that has wave in his name, I'm pretty sure he'll probably be cool. So anyway, getting to this piece, I'm not sure what you call this. The double cockpit boat, the double cockpit jet boat. I don't know what you call this. I don't know. Anyway, it's cool because these cannons actually can move and you can actually turn them. When you get this thing, they come apart from it. I mean, they come off. So you can kind of do whatever. And these ones go on, but boy, these are tight. You can't just turn these. Like, they're tight. Once you get them in the hole, you're good for now. I mean, you're not. These ones here are the same as these. They basically just come out. But yeah, when you get this thing, these, and these are all separate from it, and you have to put them in, which is fine. But yeah, this is the jet boat thingy. I don't know, there's not a lot to it. It has wheels again. And you can see that this piece here underneath, there's a Tidal Wave's face right there hiding out. Anyway, this little piece underneath just pops out, and that's going to be for Megatron to become Mighty Megatron. That's what I'm going to call him. Just because I'm sure it's bothering somebody who's watching this video. I'm really sorry. I'm not a super Armada collector or fan or whatever, but I used to have a lot of these characters when they came out because we didn't have G1 to get things for, so it's kind of cool to collect these back in the day. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of how that goes, and that's how the actual the boat, I don't know what you call this, the jet boat. I don't know I'm not sure what to call this. Anyway, that thing, that's what you get with that. So that's how it looks. And that's that's everything that you get with that. Yeah, and then I can kind of compare with size of like a Minicon. They don't really have too many Minicons, unfortunately, with this line. It's really sad that they didn't put out Minicons, but there he is with the Jolt character. Not like it fits in with any of these things, but yeah, that's basically the scale of Jolt. I wish you'd get Megatron, Starscream, and Hotshot and Optimus Prime's Minicons at least. You know, I mean, obviously I got Hotshots, but I'm saying I wish we'd get at least the main lead characters, well, I guess Red Alert, that would be another one, and who else would be in the three of the bad guy? Well, Tidal Wave, I think he had one. Anyway, so yeah, anyway, you get this, and then, I mean, I could throw in Omega Supreme's mini bot or whatever. And that kind of, you can see the scale. He's about the same size as Jolt, so whatever. Anyway, so there's your comparison for that. Anyway, that's kind of how that goes. And for me on this video, I don't think I'm going to actually cover his base mode because I don't really think he had a base mode in the cartoon ever. He had the Dark Fleet, which is this stuff. And then he had his giant spaceship, whatever, battleship mode. And then he had his Tidal Wave robot form. So that's kind of what I'm going to cover because I don't even care about the base mode. It's kind of like it's like an extra thought that they put into it. So that's kind of cool and everything. Okay, so we got it set up. This is the giant ship in its glory. It's very big, very, very big. This is huge, okay? And we'll take, and once again, we'll put Jolt in there. And this little guy right here. Now you can see how big this thing is. It's pretty huge. In fact, if I move the camera back a little bit, you can kind of see it better. Yeah, there we go. So that's how it looks. That's huge. This is like, look at my hand. I mean, this is big. This thing is really big. But yeah, you can kind of get a feel for how humongous this thing is just from doing that. All right, so that's how he looks in his giant space shuttle mode or whatever, space battle cruiser mode, I guess. I don't know. So there's Tidal Wave in his giant form, obviously looking cool. This guy is huge. I mean, this guy is very big. So we have him in his awesome form. I mean, you can do a lot of, look at that. That's cool. Like, he can do kind of some really cool looking poses. I mean, you can get him like looking like that and kind of posing like, you know, whatever, doing all kinds of stuff. I kind of wish he had a giant gun to go with him, like a lot of these mega sized transformers, but he doesn't have a gun, so I guess he's just got these blasters that kind of come out of his hands. You know, you could see that. And I don't have a blaster thing right now offhand to put in there, but you can see inside of this giant hole in his hand right there, this thing that you can actually turn out. Anyway, this thing has like a gun thing in there, and then you can put his like hands. He doesn't have individual finger movement though, but he can kind of pivot them and do whatever. So anyway, this guy is really cool though. I think it's pretty awesome that they did this. I think this is better than having like a transforming arc. I think this is more needed because Tidal Wave has always been a character that I think a lot of people have been wanting, especially at this scale. I mean, I think that they would even want him to be bigger, but this is pretty fitting for a Tidal Wave anyway. So anyway, I should compare him to Omega Supreme, I guess, just to kind of show if I can fit them both in the same picture together. Okay, so here he is next to Omega Supreme. Obviously, they're not from the same show, but just to kind of do a size comparison between these two big guys, okay? All right, so here he is next to Omega Supreme. And you could definitely see how this guy is a little shorter. And he's not as tall as Omega Supreme, they're both supposed to be in the same scale level. So I don't know what they're doing here. But anyway, I think that this guy should at least stand as tall as this guy's head. I think having him as big as Omega Supreme is not unreasonable, honestly. Outside of the fact that Hasbro's trying to probably cut back and save a little bit of money when they're making these guys, but you know, whatever. But that's kind of how this thing is anyway. He stands pretty much, he's pretty close, but he's not quite there yet, you know. Because I think Omega Supreme is really, like, when you get this guy, he is he's so big. He feels huge. Unfortunately, I don't think his base mode with the train going around is very good compared to other Transformers stuff that we've gotten in the past. But anyway, outside of that, this guy I think is very cool looking, and I just love how he is. But this is not a review about Omega Supreme. Tidal Wave, though, he fits in very well with the whole giant size Transformers anyway. So let's take this out of here. So now we're going to try to do the Megatron thing that a lot of people want to see, I think. Okay, well, don't breathe, because if you breathe, this will happen. That's the problem I'm having, Hasbro. I don't know what's going on. You couldn't tighten up the joints if you're going to have all this extra stuff hanging on this, knowing it ahead of time. That's my big problem with this little mode. I don't understand why it's like that, and I don't know why it's so easy to actually have that problem or to deal with that. Let me move in closer here, okay? So we're going to put this down, and we're going to take a look at Mighty Megatron that's not so mighty right now. So let's take a look at this guy, if my lighting will stop freaking out here. Okay, so this guy is not very, doesn't feel as quality-ish as it should, the way it's going here. Anyway, yeah, so I took all the components that I'm supposed to take and put into this guy, and unfortunately, it's a very tough, see, look at that. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'm never going to have Megatron in this actual mode anyway, so it's okay. I'm not too sad about it. It's just kind of depressing that we're supposed to be able to put him in this mode and supposed to have this out here and kind of hanging off, but the resistance, I mean, the actual, the looseness of this joint is insane. You cannot do that. it's got too much hanging on it. I wish, once again, I wish Hasbro would have put joints in so you could turn this way, the whole thing, like you did, like you actually had on the original model from the Armada series, which I had. Now see if I actually do this like a little more like that, right? I can get it a little like to stay kind of. But like I said, this thing here, you cannot just turn it this way because this whole thing is going to fall, like this whole joint. It's just waiting to fall right now. I mean, look at that. So I would advise never actually doing this combined mode. It's kind of dumb in a sense anyway, but it's what it is. This is what you get. So anyway, that's what you get when you get this giant whatever mess that they're trying to get you to do super mode Megatron or whatever. But yeah, so I would just advise to just take this off. I don't even know why we even have this. It's kind of pointless now. Other than the fact that they want you to do the super mode Megatron that's like that. And of course this, he just keeps on pump, like his legs just fall right open, like just suddenly. Anyway. Yeah, I would advise to just kind of keep it not like with that thing on there at all if you're going to do it. Because he looks a lot more better. I mean, I have this extra gun here from the War for Cybertron, I think Megatron, because I just think that's because I got a third-party kit for that one, so I have an extra now. Anyway, so I think this looks a little better, but I don't really think this is exactly what you want either. But so yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at here. So anyway, all these extra components are nice and everything, but really what we're looking at is the Tidal Wave is on its own is very cool. And I mean, we don't need all this extra stuff coming off Megatron's back and stuff. And like I said, this thing here is just, it's nice that they did this. It's nice that they took the time to make it like transform even a little bit. It'd be kind of cool if they made this into like a core class version of Tidal Wave. That would have been a smart idea if they did that. So that you could have all the core class figures and then have this smaller version. But I mean, obviously, I don't know. That's kind of dumb too. Because core class, I mean, Tidal Wave is technically a core class figure as it is. You know, he kind of fits at that giant scale. But anyway, you got other options. It looks like you can kind of take this out and do things. So I don't know. There's a lot of little options. You get these actual, I mean, is that supposed to be like it's trying to turn into the robot, which is weird. But anyway, yeah, so they got all these other options and things you can do. But for me, I'm not really big on this mode anyway, so you're already kind of talking to me about something that I'm not really into. So yeah, that's Tidal Wave in all his glory. After I fumbled around and messed with him forever and just kind of had to fight with him to get him to do whatever I need him to do. So anyway, tell what you think about this guy. Like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.